Hi, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Mercurial Sarah, and I will be pulling a card for each of the signs for the week ahead. So let's get into it. Aries, you have the Fool reversed. So, fun card. This is the first of the zodiac. This can mean a tricky beginning or a beginning where you don't really know what you're doing. Obviously, the Fool is a new beginning. It's the first card of the tarot. So, when it's reversed, it could mean that you're restarting something or you're redoing something that you once already did, and that doesn't really need to be done again. So, you're going the wrong direction, or you're starting the wrong path, or that there is some correction that's needed, and you're kind of like doing the correcting force right now, or that you're starting too early or that you're starting too soon. So be very careful of whatever journey that you're beginning right now, because it might be one of hardship and one of mistakes, and also one that doesn't really breed a lot of productivity perhaps, or that one that you need to be very introspective of. This is kind of like a very self-reflecting card basically. Taurus, we get the Two of Wands reversed. Interesting card. This is like you're supposed to be moving on from something, or that you're planning for the future for something, but you are having a difficult time doing it. We're getting a lot of reversed cards. So this could mean that people's energies are off. I don't believe in coincidences though. So there is a reason why we're getting reversed cards. And that might mean that there is some sort of psychological insight that this week's collective needs. But this can just mean that you are not seeing things properly, or that there is things that you need to redo in order to start your journey. The Two of Wands is a material card as well. So this can be about your work or your labor, things that you do in order to make money. The Two of Wands is also about partnership as well. So this can be about a lack of balance within partnerships, or not necessarily knowing if you should continue on with a certain partner as well. Gemini, you get King of Wands. This is really good, Gemini. This means that you are in control this week, that you have all of the right knowledge to assess and examine and to go ahead with this week. So it does seem like there's going to be some authority going on. Wands is also about material matters. So you might be garnering some money, or that there might be money coming your way, or that there's just more jurisdiction or more ability for you to make something of yourself. So there is this sort of holiness or royalty that's following you around this week. This is someone who knows what they're worth, someone who has lots of confidence, and someone who is very fiery and at the center of attention, and also a good business person and someone who's a really great leader. So this week seems to be very, very good for you, Gemini. Cancer. Ooh, King of Pentacles. Nice. This is about collecting money or being in with some sort of materialistic thing. The Pentacles results or refers to Earth. So this could be about, again, making money, paying off finances, paying off debts, or that can be about collecting some sort of financial success. So the King of Pentacles is really about who manages the money, where does the money go, who's getting paid. This is a really good card, especially because it's kind of influencing you to take charge of your money and to be really proactive with your money making abilities. There's lots of royalty and regality with the king cards. There's obviously this degree of authority that you have, and also autonomy as well, and also about being admired and looked at in a certain way. So again, a very good week for the Cancers, and this can also mean that you just have lots of ability to move around in this world, especially because you might be buying something. This is a very luxurious card, by the way. So you're going to be sitting in luxury, eating lots of good food, being with your family, things that are very protective and nurturing, and something that kind of resembles who you truly are in this materialistic world. So if you buy clothes, if you buy things, this is going to be a good week to do that. Leo. Ooh. The Eight of Swords reversed. This is not the best card. This represents indecision, being blindsided, not really being able to understand where you're going, and mostly just fear, paranoia, grayness, blueness. This is kind of a very sad card. So there can be like this loss of action, especially within your intelligence. Like you don't have the right words to say. You're not really sure where you're headed. You feel like things are falling over. There is this sort of like being left out to die sort of energy. This might be intellectual. This might might be with groups of people. This might be in a more communicative arena where you don't really have the sort of receipts to give someone, but you know that like they did you wrong. So this is a highly intuitive card, but it is again a little bit kind of stumbling on your words and not being able to make sense of the decisions that you've previously made and how you are making them right now. So this is a pretty difficult week for you, especially because you might be blindsided or that you might not know the full story about something and you're not really able to move forward from something as well. Virgo. Oh, the death card reversed. I'm going to be honest. It's disruption within your day-to-day life. It is corruption, it is calamity, but there is kind of like a battle that you're fighting and that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. So there is some sort of melancholy or depression that's going to be with you this week, and it might be very disheartening and it might be very scary. So there is some sort of calamity that's occurring, and some sort of chaos and panic that ensues. Libra. The Ace of Swords, a knowledge and power and some sort of newness and new beginning, especially within your connective worlds. So networking finally gets you somewhere. The person that you know knows a person that can connect you with something. The Ace of Swords is kind of like a new adventure or something that comes out of open air like magic and kind of strings along your life in a certain way. So this is a good card to get, especially because it is about new beginnings, but it's also about like the ability to spring forward towards something. So yes, it could be about like your job and stuff like that, but this can also just be about intelligence and having all of the answers right there, and you're able to kind of understand things about this world that no one else does. So you're going to be kind of like a helping hand, a very intellectual hand, or someone that is just in a very good, stable sense of themselves, and this will be proven to be very useful, especially throughout the week. So this is a really good card. Scorpio. Oh, the Magician reversed. Good card to get, even though it is reversed. It's the first card. Well, it's the second card technically of the tarot deck. The Magician reversed can mean that you are just working a lot, or that you are building up something that is kind of meaningless, like your inventions or your ability to like make your world flow might be a little bit meaningless at the moment. So there could be some sort of issues with your day-to-day life or your work life or things like that. This card is really representative of Mercury, which is like the do-it-all, the handyman, the things like that. So when it's reversed, it's like you actually don't have all of your ducks in a row, but you're working on it. So this is a very productive card, especially when it's reversed, because it also could mean that you are doing some sort of production in your inside world, or that your inside world is kind of getting renovated, or that like your actual like house or something might be getting renovated at the moment. But this is a good card to get, honestly, especially because it's yellow. There's happiness being involved. It might not be the happiness that you want, but it's the happiness that you need. Sagittarius. The Two of Swords. So indecision, blindedness. This is also a really intuitive card as well. Knowing that you can step forward without needing glasses or without needing clarity, that you have all of the resources at your disposal, even though you know that you're lacking a couple of things that are really necessary for your journey. The Two of Swords can also mean that you are dealing with two different people, or that you have to make a very big decision and you don't have all of the necessary things that you know about this, but you're still going to make the decision anyways. And this is making the decision and holding clear and holding steady with it as well. So there might be like a fork in the road situation. The Two of Swords can also just mean that you are in an intellectual battle with another person and you're just kind of like swinging it. So it's very Sagittarius energy, but I like this for the Sagittariuses. Capricorn. You have the Queen of Cups reversed. So this can be like an emotional windfall. There might be lots of emotions happening right now, especially within the home or the family, because Saturn has just entered your fourth house. So the mother may fall ill in a regard, or that you have to caretake for the family, or that your relationship with your family is changing, or your own emotional self, like your own emotional reserves, your privacy, that might all be kind of like being poured out at the moment. You might be very good at these things, but it might be very difficult for you to keep it all contained because her cup is basically being emptied because it's reverse. So you might be emptying your emotions into someone who really doesn't have your best intentions in mind, or that you can kind of like be mindless with your emotions as well. Especially with Saturn entering your fourth house, there's boundaries that you need to set up with your family, and you're going to start to learn that a little bit more proactively. And this might be the week where that's introduced because you've been very emotional with the family. Aquarius. Ooh, the Hanged Man. Love this. So this is just kind of like you being a funny, enlightened person. Someone who is really entertaining, smart, handsome. You can kind of do it all. You can hang from a tree and not die. And you have this sort of like whimsical way about yourself. And you're also enlightened at the same time. So I think that this is going to be a good week for the Aquariuses, where you start to integrate yourself into higher minded concepts that take a little bit of time to forge and fuse together. So this is going to be a good week for the Aquarius risings, especially because there might be something involved with magic, basically, or feeling like coincidences are more than just coincidences, that they're fated events destined to happen to you. So this is a good week. Pisces, you get the Knight of Cups reversed. So again, emotional stuff that might be a little bit challenging for you. Cups can also represent romantic partnerships. So you might lose a romantic partner this week, or that there might be some issues with romance in your life. Or this can mean that you lose your relationship to someone else as well. So I kind of see this card when people are wondering about their relationships and the person has already moved on. So you might have been a little bit slow to react to someone that you love, and you might not be able to gain this person back. Usually the Knight cards are representative of young people or people who are naive with romance and stuff. So this might mean that you have dropped the ball with romantic relationships, or that they just aren't really sufficing for you and you're moving on from them. But yeah, this is kind of a delicate card, I would say. Thank you very much for watching.